Okay, so building a website,
Yeah.
it can be a little overwhelming,
It can be.
especially if you're just starting out. Like, where do you even begin?
Absolutely. And, you're trying to get your business up and running. And then on top of everything else, you got to figure out this whole website thing.
Exactly, and it's like you're hit with all this jargon, right?
Yes.
And then there's the technical side of it, and then you realize hiring someone to, like, make it for you,
Oh, yeah.
not exactly cheap.
Definitely not in the budget for a lot of people just starting out.
So that's where I think website templates
Yeah.
can be a really good option.
They can be a lifesaver, like a starting point where you don't need to be fluent in code.
Right, because let's be real, nobody wants a website that looks like it was made in the 90s.
Oh, absolutely not. Those flashing GIFs and tiled backgrounds. No, thank you.
Well, hard pass. But okay, so there are a ton of templates out there. How do you even choose? What are the things to consider? That's what we're diving into today with this awesome guide from now Technology Systems Understanding Website Templates.
I love that guide. It's like they anticipated every question a beginner might have.
It's so good. It's like the ultimate cheat sheet. For anyone who's like, templates are new to me, help.
Totally. And they start by defining exactly what a website template is. A pre-designed framework for a web page, or sometimes even like a whole site. And it's ready for you to go in there and customize it.
It's kind of like if you were to build a house, right? And instead of just starting with an empty plot of land, you could choose to have a pre-built house.
Yeah.
So you have that basic structure there.
The foundation and the walls.
Exactly. But you can still personalize it.
Absolutely. You get to do all the fun stuff. Paint colors.
Decorations, all that.
Exactly. It's all about making it your own.
And, our source talks about this too. Like, one of the biggest benefits of using a template is the cost saving.
Oh, absolutely.
Because custom websites,
Thousands of dollars.
I know, it's crazy. They say here, like, upwards of $5,000 potentially.
Easily.
And a good quality template
Yeah.
might only be a couple $100.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Huge difference.
And, it's not just the money, it's also the time. You could be up and running so much faster.
That's huge, especially when you're trying to get your business out there,
Exactly.
like as soon as possible.
Time is money, as they say.
So you mentioned a good quality template. What makes a template stand out? What should people look for?
Okay, so that is a great question. And it's something that our source dives into as well. The first thing they say is figure out what you need. What are your non-negotiables? What does your website have to have?
Right.
So, for example, do you need to sell things online?
Right, like e-commerce.
E-commerce, exactly.
All right.
Or will you be blogging regularly? Do you need a booking system? Get clear on those must-haves.
So it's like choosing the right tool for the job.
100%.
You wouldn't use a hammer to tighten a screw.
You wouldn't. And once you know what you need, you can start looking at different categories of templates.
Okay.
Now, technology systems, they have business templates, e-commerce templates, ones specifically for portfolios, blogs,
Oh, cool.
even event-specific templates. It's amazing how specialized they've gotten.
Wow. Okay, so then say, for example, you're a photographer, right, and you want to showcase your work online.
Okay.
What kind of template features would be important for that?
For photography, it's all about visual storytelling.
Right.
So you want a template that really highlights stunning images, maybe some sleek slideshows, and it needs to be easy to navigate. Nobody wants to get lost trying to find your portfolio.
Yeah, you want those photos just to pop, like really grab your attention.
Absolutely. First impressions are everything online.
Okay, so we've talked about why templates are great and some of the different categories out there, but how do you know if a template is well designed? Like, is it user-friendly? And let's be real, is it going to cause problems down the road?
Yeah.
Because that's something you don't want to be dealing with.
Nobody wants a website headache.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you make sure you're picking a good one? And that's where it gets interesting. Our source, now technology systems, they're big on this whole idea of like looking beyond just the pretty face of a template, Don't be afraid to like kick the tires a little bit.
I like that. Kick the tires.
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck with a lemon website.
Exactly. So what are some of the things we should be checking under the hood?
Well, they talk about customization, which is huge.
Right, because you don't want to look like every other website out there.
Exactly. Some templates let you change colors, fonts, that kind of thing, which is great, like for a quick refresh.
Okay.
But some templates let you go deeper, like you want to change the whole layout.
Yeah.
Or add some cool animations.
Right.
Some templates will let you do that.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Some even let you get into like third-party tools and stuff.
Oh, wow.
If you're comfortable with that kind of thing. Like integrating with marketing platforms or, adding your own little bits of code.
Okay, so it's really about finding a template that matches like your comfort level
Yeah,
and how much you want to be able to tweak things.
exactly. It's all about control, you
Yeah.
know? How much do you want?
I like that. Okay, so customization, that's a big one.
Yeah.
What else?
They also talk about the importance of checking out user reviews.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
It's like crowdsourcing wisdom from people who've actually used the template.
It's the best way to find out if it's actually as good as it looks.
Right.
So where's the best place to look for those reviews?
A lot of those template marketplaces, they'll have review sections.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where people can leave their feedback.
Yeah.
And look for specifics,
Yeah.
you know? How easy is it to use? What about customization? And customer support. That's another big one.
Customer support. Because if you're new to this whole thing,
Especially then.
you're going to have questions.
Absolutely. You want to know they're there to help you out if you get stuck?
100%. Okay, so we've got our must-have features. We're reading reviews. What else should we be thinking about? Responsiveness.
Oh, yeah.
That's another one from Now Technology Systems.
That's a big one. They're all about making sure your website looks good on every device.
We go,
Phone, desktop, tablet,
people are on their phones all the time.
all the time. Can you imagine if you clicked on a website on your phone and it was like
Zoomed in and like impossible to read.
the worst? It's a nightmare. People are going to leave immediately.
Bounce right off that page.
Exactly. They're not going to stick around to see what you have to offer if they can't even navigate the site.
So now Technology Systems, they were saying you should test it out,
Definitely.
like on different devices before you commit.
A lot of them have previews, so you can get a feel for it.
Well, that's smart.
See how it looks.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
but there are a couple more things I want to touch on.
Yeah.
And these are things that I think a lot of people, especially if they're new to this, they might be a little intimidated by.
Yeah. It can seem scary.
SEO and the legal stuff,
Right.
all that.
Important stuff.
But our source, Now Technology Systems, they do a really good job of breaking it down.
They do.
So it doesn't have to be scary.
It doesn't.
Okay, so SEO, I have to admit, when I hear that, I'm like,
Algorithms.
yes, all that complicated stuff.
Yeah, it can seem overwhelming.
But Now Technology Systems have this really simple tip for beginners, and it's
Yeah.
optimizing image alt text.
That one's huge.
Okay, for those of us who don't know,
Yeah.
what is alt text?
Okay, so basically, it's a little description that you add to an image.
Okay.
And it tells search engines like Google what the image is about.
Oh, so it helps people find you.
Exactly. It can boost your ranking.
Oh.
And it's also important for people who use screen readers.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, so they can actually hear what the image is.
Accessibility. That's important.
It's huge. So now Technology Systems, they give this great example. Instead of just leaving the default file name for your image.
Right, like a jumble of numbers and letters.
Exactly, which means nothing to anybody. You want to actually describe it. So instead of, IMG 5678, it'll be woman smiling while holding a cup of coffee.
Oh, I like that. That paints a
Alright.
picture. Okay, so it helps with SEO, it helps with accessibility.
Win-win.
Win-win. Okay, so then the legal stuff.
Okay.
What are the must-haves there?
So they emphasize terms and conditions,
Okay.
privacy policy, and copyright.
Okay, let's start with terms and conditions.
Okay?
Is that really necessary for like every website?
It's a good idea. It's basically like setting the ground rules for your website, like
Right.
how people can use it, disclaimers, things like that.
So it's like covering your bases.
Exactly. And especially in Australia, we've got those consumer protection laws to think about.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're on the right side of the law.
100%. What about a privacy policy? Is that only if you're like selling stuff?
It's a good idea even if you're not,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're collecting any personal information at all.
Yeah.
Like email addresses for a newsletter, names, anything like that.
Got it.
Because in Australia, we have the Australian privacy principles,
Okay.
and they outline how businesses should handle personal information.
So it's really important to have that privacy policy.
It's essential.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure it's clear and easy to understand.
So people know exactly what you're doing with their information.
Exactly. Transparency is key.
Okay, last one, copyright.
All right.
What do people need to know about using like images or fonts?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Basically, don't use anything that you don't have permission to use.
Okay.
It sounds simple, but you'd be surprised how many people get tripped up by that.
Yeah.
But the good news is there are tons of resources out there for finding royalty-free images and fonts.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about any legal headaches.
Perfect.
And now, Technology Systems, they actually link to a bunch of those resources in their guide.
Oh, awesome. See, this is why I love this guy.
I know, right? It's like they thought of everything.
So we have covered a lot of ground today, from understanding what website templates are,
We really have.
to how to choose the right one and all the ins and outs of customizing it.
All the way to the legal stuff.
Yes. And I have to say, I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too. It's been a great deep dive.
It has. So for our listeners out there who are ready to take the leap and build their website, what would be your biggest piece of advice?
Don't be afraid to just go for it.
Yes.
It's easier than you think, especially with all the amazing resources available.
Like now, technology systems understanding website templates.
Yes. Go check it out. It's a game changer.
And remember, your website is your online home. It's a chance to share your story, connect with your audience, and really make your mark online.
Exactly. So put your best foot forward and have fun with it.
And on that note, that is a wrap on another deep dive.
Until next time.
See you later.